Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to a very, very exciting, all according to my heart, super awesome topic today. And this is about the Buonaiuto movement. And today we're having an in-depth interview with the founder, Tony Buonaiuto himself. And before we dive into that, I just want to say a very, very important thing. You will want to watch this entire. Wow, I hear myself everywhere. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. This is good. I just want to say you will, number one, want to watch this until the end because Tony is an incredible individual. He has not only ran multi-million dollar companies in his beautiful career, but he has built an incredibly powerful community, the Buonaiuto movement, that helps people to truly create the best self for themselves, so that making you the best me, and to create success in all areas of life. And with that, he is also giving everybody that is watching this video, no matter where you're watching it, a free gift. So in the link, in the comments, there will be a link where you can grab your free gift. This is a free assessment and an empowerment call where Tony is actually going to help a couple of individuals to truly allow themselves to get to their desired future. Now, without any further ado, I just want to say, welcome, Tony. Please, will you care to introduce yourself a little bit? Because I obviously know who you are. We've been working together for I don't know how many years already. And I just want the audience to get to know who are you and why did you create the Buonaiuto movement? Go ahead. Oh, I cannot hear you right now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Now I can.
Oh,
Good.
Good. Mic check 1, 2.
Yes.
Hi. Treberry is the most amazing woman in this niche of helping people grow their lives through growing their businesses, growing their self-confidence, everything. And yes, we met, I'm going to say 2017. Could have been 18, the end of 17. It was in that time zone somewhere.
Yeah.
And I traveled
In
to
London. In London, right?
I took a step. I don't know why or how, but I was in major struggles, a deep, dark hole. And a link came across my YouTube channel, and I clicked on it. I think it was $100 to come out. Master Sri Karshna was given a seminar, and there you were. Bam.
Yeah. Can I just ask, was it Superpower Life or was it Masters of Success? I can't remember.
Superpower Live.
Superpower Life.
Yeah.
Awesome. way back.
And my journey began.
Yeah.
I've always been helping people. As a matter of fact, if you don't mind, I'll just my last name means good help in Italian.
Love that.
Buonaiuto. The heritage is that people would, people didn't have a book where they would pick last names out of. They were just called nicknames.
Yeah.
Way back in Italy, and my family would be walking down the street, and they'd say, "Oh, there's Buonaiuto," because my family would always be helping people, and it's kind of in my blood somehow. A lot of my life I've spent serving other people, and to my detriment sometimes, meaning I forgot who I was, and it still pops up where I'll help somebody and lose track of me. And I'm always doing more sometimes for other people than I do for myself. So I found you, and we kind of turned that inside out a little bit, because you showed me how I have to help myself first. And the oxygen mask on the airplane, you put yours on first, and we so can talk about and most recently you've been super amazing and helping me understand. But I had a call with Treberry, and we made some live calls to some clients, and we not only realized that I could help people, but I could help other teams. So industries have large corporations have management teams that struggle because everybody's always trying to like show up for other people and they forget
Yeah.
to show up for themselves. There
Yeah.
was a really cool like aha moment, and I
Mhm.
also believe in God. I use the word God a lot because God
Me too.
simplifies it quickly.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what their God is, and I'm not saying you need to know my God, or it's
Mhm.
not even religious. Sometimes it's very spiritual, and my connection has grown and grown and grown. And thanks to you and Master,
Mhm.
um, and trips to like India with him,
Yeah.
I've come real close to my inner self, to
Mhm.
the point where I cannot like observe my mind. And that's like some of my teaching is just having people realize that the reason they're here at this moment is because it's the now they know. They
Mhm.
don't know anything else. It gets them to be right where they are.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is their conditioning and experiences are only what they know. So of
Mhm.
course they're going to act on what they know. There's a huge part of humans, I think 65% of our being
Mhm.
doesn't know we don't know. There's so
Yeah.
much unknown out there that will change lives. And that's where a lot of my work starts, with helping people is like in their own mind, open
Yeah.
the idea of expanding.
This is so beautiful, and I do want to say one thing because you are introducing yourself, and you do that always so humbly. This guy's way too humble. Let me say this because, like you were saying, you've been helping people all your life, and I know for a fact that you've helped people save their lives, and you've made a difference to communities, and you have been invited recently to speak in front of a huge community. And I know you are so humble when you're talking about it, and you're so kind, giving me credit, and other people that have been on your path. But I just want to give you a lot of credit because I am very blessed to work with phenomenal people, and I want to say you have something that is so, how do I say this properly for the audience? Contagious. You
Well,
have something that is so positively contagious, and one of the things that
they're
I
like
love very much
blushing.
in our many conversations is that you always help people from sort of the inside out, and that you simply sometimes just have a conversation with people that then allow them to realize that they are able to do so much more than they give themselves credit for. And a lot of the time, in just that very short conversation that you have with them, or when you actually work with them, they completely transform right then and there. And it can happen fast. And I want to ask you about that because I know when people watch this, whether that's live or whether it's going to be on the replay, that a lot of people, especially these days, will be looking at, and you say this all the time, right? People come to you and they remember you from back in the day working with you, and like maybe 20 years ago. And a lot of people look up to you for the great work that you have done, and what you have meant to their lives. But you always turn it around and say to them and allow them to know how simple it is to be able to do that, and how they have something incredible in their lives, and they sometimes don't give themselves credit for it. So can you tell me a little bit more, because what I like, the way how I've seen you grow this beautiful Buonaiuto movement,
Mm.
I feel like you're almost just saying to them, like, take my hand and let's just step, as Michael Jackson says, step into the river and allow it to flow through you, because it is already there, but you're allowing people to kind of recognize and acknowledge their own superpowers, and then give them guidance to kind of unpack that more, whether that's in the area of mindset, the area of success, area of relationships, health, spirituality, connection, faith. Tell me more about that, because you seem to have a gift. You do this so naturally without even thinking about it. Tell me
I'm
more.
overwhelmed with everything you just unloaded right there. There's not a simple answer for
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, so self-awareness would be. I want to mention that when I met you, I was really broken.
Hmm.
Um, had done some things that was not proud of at
Hmm.
all. Um, and there was a lot of guilt, shame, and remorse. And part of the reason I was clicking those buttons on YouTube and searching and searching and searching. And the down, I look back and I know it was all God inspired, but
Yeah.
how broken was I really broken? To the point where my marriage was like one thin, tiny string thread
Yeah.
from end. And I have to say that I've rebuilt that, and I have the best relationship with my wife than I've ever had. And
Shout out to
we've
Jeanette.
Jeanette,
Yeah.
we've talked, you and I, about this, and most recently. So I just like to give a little example.
Yeah.
Hypocrite I am not.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that confidently, and that sounds like ego too, and it's not. It's I do what I say. I
Yeah.
practice this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how I teach it. Because
Yeah.
I've come from the gutter. I've come from hell.
Mm-hmm.
Some of where I've been um, is the hell on earth, literally. And how am I living the way I am today is just miraculous. You would never know the person I was, and that's the beauty of what you helped me see too. In all areas, right? In health, wealth, relationships,
Yeah.
communication is key. And then
Mm-hmm.
when we got together again this time,
Mm-hmm.
almost a year ago, it was all about me finding purpose.
Mm-hmm.
How do I harness the person I was to the person I am and show somebody else? Because my favorite client, my favorite, and that's a bad word,
Mm-hmm.
my favorite audience, the people I love working with the most are the ones that look like I used to be.
Yeah.
Because my goal is to teach people, that person I used to be, how to become the person I am now. And when I see that person that I used to be in them, that's pretty easy to transform for
Mm-hmm.
me as me. So I don't necessarily like mentor somebody with certain scripts or programs. We have courses, we have online stuff, we have one-on-ones, we have retreats, the whole
Yes.
nine yards.
Buonaiuto retreat.
Yeah, I'm getting really excited about all that. And the guide in me
Mm-hmm.
is not the doer. I like people to become their own hero.
Yeah.
And I can't do that in every aspect of life. I can only do it because of my experience, strength, and hope, and where I came from, and what I'm doing now, and where I want to be in the future. And then I join the people I help. I join with. I get sort of emotional because they help me grow more than I help them grow. And it's
Humbleness. I'm sure it was a fair trade. But it's beautiful that you see it that way.
it's
I
so
love it.
crazy how it works. That so
Yeah.
you said a lot. Trying to get back to where I was, and the
Well,
train of thought
can
was
I ask
that
a
an
follow-up question?
experience I had not recently,
Mm,
back 4 or 5 years ago.
mm,
Wow, time flies. I came home from a really hard day. I still have 2 other businesses, by the way, and I grind and grind and grind. And half the reason I figured out I grind is so I can escape the real me and the silence and the
mm,
connection. I'm afraid of the dark
mm-hmm.
because I've been there,
Yeah.
but I think the dark is bad, and I have these preconceived ideas of what that is. And now that I'm learning that the dark is light, and then
Mm-hmm.
I could become like I connect with a source, a God.
Mm-hmm.
So my example is, one day I came home from the grind, hard
Mm-hmm.
work, and I asked my wife for a hug, and she was like, no, she's not
Mm-hmm.
getting up. And I don't blame her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I got a little angry and I said, give me a hug. And she said, no.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to get loud and I said, give me a hug. And she said, absolutely not. You're out of your mind. And at that moment, I looked at myself different. I wouldn't want to hug that crazy, angry person either.
Mhm.
So what I do now is I give her a hug and I get the
Mhm.
best hugs back.
Mhm.
It's amazing, you
Mhm.
know. You can't force your will on anything in this world.
Yeah.
It's all about communication, cooperation, divine timing, going with the flow.
Mhm.
And so that's just like an example of me practicing being that better person.
Mhm.
Can't change nobody. You can't make anybody do anything.
Yeah.
God can, but we can't. So when
Mhm.
we try to change people, they don't change. But when you show them that you can change by you changing and experience and strength and hope, and that comes full circle.
Yeah.
Um,
That's beautiful. And thank you for sharing that as well, because I know sometimes it's not easy, like sharing some of the difficult patches of life, and also, mistakes made, and vulnerabilities, and stuffs that we go through on a day-to-day basis, because sometimes when people look at a certain individual that has accomplished a lot, like you have accomplished so much in your life and built so much, then people may think that everything is just easy. And I have that sometimes too, that people somehow assume that life is simple just because you've made millions. But that's not the case. Like, every single person on this planet undergoes challenges, has fears, has certain things that they are struggling through. Even though you may not know, you may meet someone who has the biggest smile, but they're going through something internally. And what I think is your strength, or one of your many strengths, and why people feel so empowered by you when you train them, or when you help them, or when you're giving speeches, is because you can be honest about yourself. You can tell them where you're vulnerable. You can show them some of the dark stories of the past, and allow them to realize that whatever they're going through, they're not the only ones. And I think it is in that honesty and deep, pure connection where you can hold up hands, and you lift someone up. And that's also why, again, I want to say, if there's anybody watching this video and you feel inspired, or you really want to also get yourself to the next level of your life, and whether that be you want to have better relationships, like Tony spoke about earlier, how him and his wife were having a rough patch, but then now they're the best of friends, and they're really partners in
mm,
life and in this empire. And maybe you want to have better health, maybe you want to have more connection with God, or whatever is the almighty for you, or you want to have more success. I really, really do recommend everybody to go and click on the link in the comments and be a part of this beautiful gift that Tony has put together, where he basically, in this assessment, gets you to answer a couple of questions about who you are, what you want in life, what has perhaps been a hurdle for you. And then he actually is going to give you an empowerment call, completely free of charge, to actually help you to basically overcome those hurdles, and what are the next steps that you can to find that best version of you, which actually already lives inside of you, but we just sometimes don't see it because we are distracted, and whatnot. So again, I want to say thank you so much, Tony, for sharing that example. I want to ask you another question, because also a lot of people and groups come to you and ask you to give speeches. They
mm,
and that's also like what you shared earlier about doing trainings for companies and guiding teams to better communicate, because communication is everything, right?
yeah,
Communication is so important, and you train people in that. If you have a look at like how you build your multi-million dollar family business in the other industry that you have built it, in helping people have safe homes, and you now compare that to what you do in training companies, like you are someone who's got just multiple businesses that you go into, and then boom, you make it into something beautiful that helps people. I was just like,
mm,
oh, easy peasy,
amazing.
easy. So how would you basically draw the comparison, like what allowed you to build that multi-million dollar empire back in the day, and what pieces of that do you in this movement share with people so that they can also seek success?
Awesome. I just did a video on YouTube. Check out my channel, but it was on that we're not alone. It's one of my favorite slogans. It is from the 12-step program, but it fits everything. Other relationships and other connections are huge.
Mhm.
I a lot of people have employee problems, and it does take quite a few people to find the right fit. But
Mhm.
once you find the right fit,
Mm.
the employees become loyal because you're loyal to them.
Mhm.
Um, I was going to talk a little bit about wealth real quick, if I could,
Yeah.
just because
Please. Yeah,
the
that's
word
exactly what I'm
wealth,
interested in.
everybody says wealth is money. You know,
Mm.
the first thing, if I said the word wealth, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Dollar
Mhm.
signs,
Yeah.
right? Um, Wealth is not just money. To me,
Mhm.
it's abundance, and
Yeah.
abundance of what? We grow our own food, and we have like the peppers we got this year are crazy, and then
I
we
saw
share
your
those with
video.
people.
Yeah. That's so
There's
cool to see.
more. We just cleaned the garden because it's getting cold here, frost.
Yeah.
So the wealth is giant in the understanding that money comes when you're fulfilled abundantly.
Mhm.
And how do you do that? So
Beautifully
you
said.
build the right relationships, and here we are. This is where I get stuck sometimes because I've always been giving more.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you what I wanted to talk about in this question is the relationship I have with my father, who was my partner.
Yeah.
My whole life was struggle with him, except for the last like 30 or so years.
Mm.
Let me just give you a little childhood history.
Mhm.
I would go to school, and I wasn't the best student on purpose. I don't think it's the right place for men or little boys to be.
Mhm.
Like they put you in the classroom, you're looking out the window, and you don't want to be there, really.
Yeah.
Our job is to protect, procreate, and provide
Mhm.
as men. Um, I go to school, I'd get an F. I'd come home. My dad
Mhm.
would smack me in the head and say, "What the heck's wrong with you?"
Mm.
I'd go to school and I'd get a C. And I'd come home, "Dad, I got a C. I got a C." Smack me in the head and say, "You could do better than that." Then
Mm.
I'd go to school and get a B plus. It
Mhm.
was like awesome because I never got A's. I
Mm.
didn't want to be there. Why would I exert myself? Can I get A's? Absolutely. I learned I could get an A anywhere, whatever I
Mm.
put my mind to, but I would only get a B plus, which was
Mm.
great for me. So I go home, "Dad, I got a B plus. I got a B plus." He'd smack me in the head and he'd
Oh,
say, "Good job." What kind of message is that from
yeah.
that man? I was confused.
Mm.
So was failing the right answer or overachieving the right answer?
Mhm.
Um, and that's where I struggled. My business is the main business that we grew, relatively large,
Mhm.
was a concrete business, and we were partners, and we would fight like cat and dog all the time. Like he threw hammers at my head.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, angry. And
Uh-huh.
one day the client was looking at us like, "You guys are out of your minds." And I saw it, and I took my dad, and we took a long walk down the beach. And I said to him, "Dad, we can't fight like this. We can have arguments in private, but not in public anymore." And I think the answer is that one of us needs to be the boss. I'm willing to listen to whatever you have to say in public, and if you're willing to listen to me in private afterward about it. And he said, "No, this is the talk we need to have." And he gave me the reins. I became the boss. We had very few fights after that, even in private. It was the most amazing was the most amazing transformation you can ever go through. But those are the challenges that you don't see that you have to overcome. A
Yeah.
lot of people regret their way that they deal with their family members.
Mhm.
It's just about relationship building and communicating. And I learned that I wasn't the almighty, that I don't have all the answers.
Yeah. Wow.
The
I
team,
am
the team,
a little bit taken by this story.
the
It was
team is
very beautiful.
big. Putting a team together is big. Uh,
Mm.
even with the Buonaiuto movement, there's people behind the scenes. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a techie. As you may know, we were supposed to be on Instagram right now, and we ended up on YouTube because
Yeah, yeah.
I I I, I walk down streets and street
Mm,
lights flicker and go out. My wife is
mm.
like, "There you go again. There you go again." I walk into somebody's room and they're on their PC and it goes like into like chaotic spiral. Like I could
High
tell you,
energy.
no doubt.
Mm, yeah.
I couldn't get my Instagram to work, so here we are. I'm not a techie, nor do I want to be. Actually, people are overqualified for that. People are qualified. People that
Mm,
work with me are do it better than I could ever try and practice to be.
mm,
And then I can help more people that way because I
yeah,
focus on what I do best. They focus on what they do best, and we combine and we join team.
yeah,
We hold hands and we go
yeah.
for it large.
That is very beautiful, and also, um, I personally actually share a similar, I guess, experience as well with building teams, and it's not always as easy. But then also you sharing a story about you and your dad and how that transition moment, right? And how that happened after a important, clear conversation had been had that had to come, and obviously came at the right moment. And then from there on, it was obviously a lot more smooth and a lot more, good. And I think as well, like listening to what you're saying and my own personal experience in that, that's also what a lot of teams and companies and groups need, because our communication, number one, with ourselves, our communication with others, and as you always say as well, our communication with the higher power, all these three things are equally as important, and important for us to become more aware of that, because then not just as an individual can we thrive, but also as a team. And I love the fact that you do that work, and I know you've got a big speech coming up as well in front of a beautiful community. And I know,
Can't
just
wait.
like, again, like the topics that you address, these are important topics for an individual to better themselves, but also for groups to be able to come together more in more harmony, and therefore excel in whatever they're trying to accomplish, whether that is a church community, or whether that's a company that has a team that they want to make sure that everybody's aligned. It is so important to, in that endeavor, to also keep things simple. And I think you have a remarkable talent for making things simple. And even in this conversation, like you say exactly what it is. You don't make things fluff things up, basically. And I think that's, again, a big important thing for people to realize, because when you also simplify things in your head, then you can see clearly where to walk next and how to
Can I do
develop.
it again?
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
You know what you're talking about? It reminds me a lot about how I listened to my mind most of my life. And I broke this chain, this idea that my mind was right
Mm,
in a crazy way.
mm-hmm.
When my kids were little, they would go to bed, obviously, and we would tuck them in and we would do our nighttime prayers.
Yeah.
And in the nighttime prayers, I would ask them, stick with me because you're really going to get this one.
Yeah.
I would ask them, what did you do today that you um, didn't like, that bothered you?
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't tell me because I always start with the negative first. That
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they would, but most of the time they wouldn't. I said, that's okay. Just think about it. What was it? And then I'd say, if you put yourself back there, did you remember, was that in your mind or your heart? And the
Mm-hmm.
negative stuff they did was in their head. So
Mm-hmm.
then we would say, um, okay, let's ask God to not do that again tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd move on. And I'd say, what'd you do today that you enjoyed? What'd you do today that you felt was really good? And
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't stop talking. All they wanted to do is tell me, right?
Yeah.
Talk, talk, talk. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, I did this, I did this, I did that. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, let's go back to the moment. Was that in your mind or your heart? And
Mm-hmm.
they'd say it was in their heart. All the positive, the good was in their heart. So then
Mm-hmm.
we'd say, okay, let's have God repeat that. Ask God, can we please be that same person again tomorrow? Help me carry that into the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And it was the most beautiful thing because with that, I started understanding, and I was practicing this too, but I would teach
Yeah.
it to them, and that really set the stage because it's what you practice, you become,
Yeah.
and what you teach, you become by practicing. The idea of this goes one step further, and this is what you're talking about. That
Mhm.
moment when my dad were on the and I were on the beach was
Mhm.
all about intuition and seizing that moment. These
Yeah.
moments come all the time. I call that the gut.
Mm.
There's three parts of our body that wire and fire: our mind, our heart, and our gut.
Yeah.
They're electronic, they are vibration, they are alive. And
Mhm.
when you can start listening to your heart and stop listening to your mind,
Mhm.
that's step one. Step two is when those times and those moments show up for you,
Yeah.
you act on that intuition and hold it and you seize that opportunity.
Yeah.
And that just, it all just becomes giant because now you can go to life through life with a slower pace
Mhm.
and flow. If anybody ever taught me about flow, it's
Mm.
you. You just flow. You flow,
Mm.
and you know the. Can I compliment you in a very good way, and that's the
Oh,
child in you comes out. And what I love about you the most is that that
mhm.
flow is like a nerdy child. It's really geeky good. You know how
Bless
many
you.
people you touch with that idea because it's the real you. There's
Yeah.
no fluff. And
Yeah.
we did this
I
yesterday. No
appreciate that.
fluff, Tony. No fluff, Tony.
No
No fluff,
proof.
Tony. No,
Yeah.
and if you didn't tell me that or show me that and teach me that
Mhm.
and act that way,
Mm.
the messages you portray wouldn't be as powerful.
Yeah. Wow, thank you. And thank you for your kind words as well. And right back at you because that I think that's also a lot of the time what happens in life. Like you attract what you are, and therefore we resonate so much in doing the good work and in expanding, making an impact in the world. Hey, I see comments coming in. Thank you so much for commenting and watching. Because it's also like what I see in you. Like you are that childlike,
Mm.
crazy Tony, but in a good way. And I think as well that that is another element or another reason, better yet, to for everybody to just get in touch with Tony, like truly. And I'm not just saying that because it's a nice thing to say. I say it because I mean it. And I, over the years, as I have gotten to know you and know your story better, and all the different parts of the difference that you're making, it's very wonderful to see the impact that you're making and to see what it is that you're doing and the good and pure place that it comes from. And we do, in my opinion, live in a world where there's a lot of good, but we
Mm.
also live in a world where there's a lot of confusion. Let's say it that way. There's a lot of confusion as well. And sometimes a lot of people that talk the talk, but not necessarily walk the walk. And
It's
I,
hard to decipher the honesty.
yeah, exactly.
Everything's fake. The
There's a
news,
lot of things.
AI. Look at AI. Like you see,
Oh my god.
there's no human in it. It's just like fake.
Yeah.
It's so it's good. I'm in. And I use ChatGPT. I love it. It's so good. But it's not always the truth. Like it'll tell you whatever you want to hear,
Mm,
and that's scary,
yeah.
because then it's false hope. It's
Hmm.
false. You got to really be careful with it, because it dehumanizes the human.
Yeah. I also really believe that there's something that we as people bring to the table that is just unmatched in any way. And as long as something has has that soul and that energy, that is what is the true power. And I also believe that that's one of the reasons why people are so impacted by you, is because it's your energy is kind of like, imagine that you have two candles, right? And then what you do is they have a flame and you just give light to them, and then their flame is even more. And it's not like you're giving them a flame, but they have it already, but maybe due to life and whatever challenges they have been faced with, their flame has gone to become very, very dim, and they may not recognize it anymore in themselves. And then you just,
Mm,
you know what, I'm just gonna light it up, and I'm gonna make you remember that you can do this too. And like you say, allow them to be the hero of their own story. And I think that's just a true blessing. And I just want to say, open here, everybody watching this, like I 100% recommend people to connect with
I'm
Tony.
having so many aha moments.
Yeah, but
So
you're
long
always
I've forced my
yeah,
will.
yeah,
So long I've forced my will on the world. And the
yeah,
more I did, the less
mhm,
I got. And here's the idea with this. If you keep doing what doesn't work,
yeah,
you're going to keep getting what doesn't work. And
mhm,
I thought, well, I'll go harder.
yeah.
I'll grind harder. I'll do more. And I was only doing more of what didn't work, so it didn't work more.
Yes, 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 yes.
Right?
Yeah,
Like
right. Like that.
you can't keep doing more of what doesn't work because you'll keep getting more of what doesn't work in a larger scale.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
who everybody needs a mentor, everybody needs a coach, everybody needs an investment in themselves.
yeah.
It's the best thing I ever did was invest in myself. And that's
Oh,
when that's when
same
this
for me.
world broke open
Yeah,
for
same for
me.
me. And can I just say one more thing about this, because it's so important that you're talking about this right now. There's a lot of the time people, they get confused about investing in themselves or paying for
Mhm.
something and helping someone. And I just want everybody who's watching this to also be aware of it, because Tony, myself, and so many other successful people that we know and work with, everybody of them will have invested in themselves. And sometimes people, and maybe you listening to this, want to also create something beautiful and inspire the masses and do something incredible that helps people, but you're afraid of accepting payment for that, because you should just help them out, right? Now, one thing that both Tony and I speak about a lot and have learned from our mentors and seen in our own life and in practice is that people who pay more attention.
Uh,
And that when you put the investment out and you invest in yourself, actually what you're doing is you're putting the energy out. And
Skin,
yeah, because you're putting your skin in the game and you're putting that energy out there, it will reciprocate from the universal energy
it
in
all
your own
grows.
life, your growth, exactly. And so if there's anybody watching this and you're like, okay, I really want to grow and I really want to take myself to the next level, you really will want to invest in yourself. And don't just do it blindly, like invest in a lot of silly things.
No, no.
Find someone who can actually help you and allow that good help to benefit you. And by, as one of my clients said, she always said, "Oh, when I invest in myself, I'm basically saying to my money, go out there and bring back friends." And you're, poof. So the money goes out there and then bring back friends. And that's a powerful thing, because also at the end of the day, whenever as a business you're receiving money or someone pays you, that is the moment that they transform. The close is not for the company. The close is, so the close meaning the moment that the person pays, that's when the transformation, or at least the half of the transformation, happens. And so I'm
Yeah.
so happy that you're saying that, because I know, again, people watching this, whether it's live, whether it's a replay, wherever you find this video, I know there's going to be people that, if you have stayed to this point in the video, that you will want to grow yourself too. And so my advice is, find yourself a good mentor. And if you have come to this video, then I say, look no further. Tony is your guy.
The
But
first
start.
principle of this concept, the first principle of this concept that you're talking about, I think one of them is that when we resist, we feel pain.
Hmm,
And when I go out there and resist paying for something that's going to give me value, I
mhm,
start to suffer because I'm resisting it.
hmm,
And then when it comes free,
yeah,
it doesn't make the resistance go away because I didn't do my part.
yeah,
You have to show up and do your part. You need to participate in life. Life just isn't going to happen for you. I mean, I got to clarify that because it does happen for you, but the effort is that you allow it to. You
yeah,
don't resist it.
yeah.
You go with
Love
it.
that. Allow. Thank you for saying that. That's the word that's like my word of the year.
Yes.
allow people to, the people need to allow themselves to experience that growth. And yeah, you're totally right. Sometimes we are just silly geese. we resist everything. And my dad always says this. He says, if you are in the water and you resist, what happens? You're going to sink to the bottom. So he said, you
Oh,
need to allow. And only that way you can float and allow
mm,
yourself to be taken to the places where you want to be taken and are meant to be taken. So stop resisting, guys. But
yeah.
I want to say this as a final bit to today's video. Everybody, if you haven't already, go ahead and click on the link in the comments in the somewhere around this video. It is tonybonaiuto.com/go, and with that link you will be able to get the special gift from Tony. And I can tell you, this is completely free of charge. It will make a difference to your life. I cannot stress this enough. I work with Tony. I've known Tony for so many years now, when I was still a rookie, by the way. And it's just, he's incredible. And the most important thing, he has a pure heart. And because of his pure heart, he wants to help people to truly bring out the best in themselves, in their lives, in their families, in their communities, in their companies, and in their relationship with
Yeah.
spirit and God. So, with all of that being said, Tony, what would be your final tip of the day for everyone listening to this video up to this point?
Don't hold back. Be yourself. One of the best things I've ever done is learn to sit still. So practice being alone by yourself, and then take a look at what happens when you're alone by yourself, because that's the real you. What do
Yeah,
you do when you're alone by yourself?
yeah.
Not too many people have ever experienced that.
Hmm.
Maybe small percentage actually.
Hmm.
And then when you realize who you are,
Yeah.
then and only then can you start making changes for the parts you don't like,
Hmm.
and they are changeable.
I love that.
Mm.
That is a beautiful one.
I don't know where
Amen
that
to
came from.
that. Love it. Absolutely love it. And my tip is to make sure, number one, to follow
Oh
Tony.
yes,
And
and
where can you
follow
guys follow
Treveria.
Tony? No,
I,
follow Tony. Follow Tony first. So Tony, you can follow at Tony Bonaiuto on Instagram, on YouTube,
mm,
on Facebook, all across
Facebook.
the internet. He is everywhere, but also at tonybonaiuto.com/go, where he has this beautiful free gift for you guys. Don't miss out. He can only
You
do this for
can't.
a number of people, but I
You don't
really,
want to.
really want you guys to not miss out. So click on that link. And on that note, I want to say, Tony, thank you so much for this beautiful interview, for sharing your vision, sharing your own story, your own vulnerabilities, and how that has allowed you not only to change your life, but to change the lives of so many already and so many more to come. So on that note, thank you,
One
Tony.
more.
One more.
I love ending in a breath. It's the
Ah,
first thing we do when we're born, the last thing we do when we die, so we might as well do it now.
let's
And
do it.
I like breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth with a small hold at the top.
All right.
Okay, take a deep
Yes.
breath in, hold, and exhale. And we'll see you next time.
Thank
You're
you
the
so
best.
much.
Oh, I
Bye.
had such a good time. Thank you.